Today I would like to share about Rule 16 of the Rules of the Road. Before that, let's dive into its origin. The International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, COL Regs, commonly known as the Rules of the Road, ROR, form the cornerstone of global maritime safety. Adopted by the International Maritime Organization, IMO, in 1972, the convention entered into force internationally on the 15th of July 1977 and was ratified by Malaysia on 23rd of December 1980 and officially taking effect in Malaysia on the same date. According to Article 4th, Entry into Force, the convention became effective 12 months after at least 15 states, representing not less than 65% of the world's merchant fleet, had ratified it, but not before 1st January 1976. Once in force, it replaced the 1960 regulations and became the Universal Code for Navigational Conduct at Sea. Under Rule 1, Application, the COL regs apply to all vessels on the high seas and connected navigable waters and allow special rules for harbors and inland waterways, provided they conform closely to the international framework. In Malaysia, the convention is enforced through the Merchant Shipping Collision Regulations, Order 1984, PU 438-1984, and Merchant Shipping Ordinance, MSO 1952. Under Section 252 of the MSO 1952, which empowers the minister to issue regulations to prevent collisions at sea, including lights, signals, and steering rules. Any master who fails to comply with these regulations is liable to a fine not exceeding Rm 10,000. Furthermore, Section 81 of the MSO 1952 requires that every shipowner ensures the latest Malaysian legislations, international rules, and publications relating to maritime safety are readily accessible on board. Non-compliance carries a penalty of up to Rm 25,000 per ship. To maintain alignment with international standards, the Marine Department of Malaysia issued the Malaysia Shipping Notice MSN 11/2023 titled Piwaran Perintah Perkapalan Dagang Peraturan Pelanggaran Pindahan 2023, or Gazettement Notification of Merchant Shipping Collision Regulations, Amendment Order 2023. This notice informs all stakeholders, ship owners, masters, agents, port operators, and recognized organizations, which updates the 1984 order in line with the 2000 and 2023 amendments. All concerned parties are advised to take note and act accordingly, as the order came into force on the 29th of August 2023, reinforcing Malaysia's commitment to international maritime safety. Within this framework lies Rule 16, Action by the Giveaway Vessel, a central provision of the COL regs that defines leadership and responsibility at sea. Rule 16 states, every vessel which is directed to keep out of the way of another vessel shall, so far as possible, take early and substantial action to keep well clear. The essence of this rule is captured in 3 key words: early, substantial, and well clear. Early means timely action before a situation becomes critical. Substantial means decisive, unmistakable movement. And well clear means maintaining a safe distance that leaves no risk of collision. Rule 16 embodies the qualities of initiative, situational awareness, and leadership under pressure. It reminds mariners that safety depends on confident, visible decision-making, not hesitation. However, Rule 16 does not stand alone. Its application depends on the interrelation with several other COL regs provisions. Rule 1. Application establishes its global scope. Rule 2. Responsibility declares that even perfect compliance with the rules does not absolve a mariner from using good seamanship, as both vessels may share fault in a collision. And Rule 3. Definitions clarifies critical terms like vessel, underway, and restricted inability to maneuver. These foundational rules ensure that Rule 16 is applied with both legal and ethical awareness. Before a vessel can take giveaway action under Rule 16, it must first identify the danger, as required by Rule 7, risk of collision. This rule obliges all vessels to use all available means, such as radar, AIS, and visual observation, to determine whether a collision risk exists. If the bearing between 2 vessels remains constant while the range decreases, a collision risk is present. Once risk is detected, Rule 8, Action to Avoid Collision, prescribes that every maneuver must be positive, timely, and in accordance with good seamanship, bridging the cognitive stage of awareness with the practical execution required under Rule 16. In narrow channels, as covered by Rule 9, give-way actions must be adapted. Instead of altering course, a vessel may reduce avoid impeding another that can safely navigate only within the channel. This shows that Rule 16 requires context and judgment, not blind application. Rules 12 to 15 then determine who gives way in various situations. Rule 12. Sailing vessels, the vessel with wind on the port side gives way. Rule 13. Overtaking, the overtaking vessel must keep clear. Rule 14. Head-on situations, both vessels alter course to starboard. And Rule 15. Crossing situations, the vessel with another on her starboard side must give way. Once a vessel's duty to give way is established, Rule 16 dictates how it must be done: early, substantial, and clear. If the give-way vessel fails to comply, Rule 17, action by the stand-on vessel, requires the other vessel to take action when it becomes apparent that the give-way vessel is not maneuvering properly. This highlights a critical truth. In every encounter, responsibility is shared. Further, Rule 18, responsibilities between vessels, establishes a hierarchy. Power-driven vessels give way to sailing vessels give way to fishing vessels, and all must give way to vessels restricted in their ability to maneuver or not under command. Rule 18 determines who gives way, Rule 16 dictates how, and Rule 17 ensures mutual responsibility. Under maritime law and COLREG principles, collisions almost always involve shared fault. Even if one vessel fails to act under Rule 16, the stand-on vessel may still be held accountable under Rule 17b and Rule 2, responsibility, if it fails to take action once danger becomes evident. There is, therefore, no absolute immunity under the COLREGs. Every vessel must act prudently and continuously to avoid danger. Together, the rules form a logical safety system. An example that reflects the importance of the COLREGs is the collision between the Barbados-registered container carrier Hadis and the PRC-registered dry cargo ship Guangbo Yun 328 near Hong Kong on the 1st September 2011. Investigation reports show that this was a crossing situation where Guangbo Yun 328 had Hadis on her starboard side, making Guangbo Yun 328 the give-way vessel under Rule 15, crossing situations. As the give-way vessel, Guangbo Yun 328 was required under Rule 16, action by the give-way vessel, to take early and substantial action to keep well clear, but instead she failed to alter course or speed in time, resulting in a developing close-quarters situation. Hadis, as the stand-on vessel, was required under Rule 17 to maintain course and speed initially, but also to take action when it became apparent the give-way vessel was not maneuvering appropriately. The investigation concluded that both vessels failed to fully comply with their respective obligations under Rules 15, 16, and 17, directly contributing to the collision. This incident reinforces a core COLREG principle. At sea, there is no single party at fault. Under Rule 2, responsibility, both vessels share a continuous and mutual duty to prevent collisions through awareness, judgment, proper lookout, and good seamanship. To conclude, through coordination, communication, and leadership, the rules of the road ensure that safety at sea is not an individual privilege, but a collective obligation of all mariners.
That's all for a video. Thank you. See you in the next video.